Hello, how is everybody doing? How is everybody getting by? I hope that you're finding ways to manage and make the most of this unfortunate situation that we're in. I know that that's not easy, but I think if we just take each day as it comes, one at a time, then we'll be that much closer to being rid of this thing that I dare not speak its name. I'm doing this video today to share something with you guys that I learned in my beekeeping program. It's going to blow your freaking mind. This is the most unbelievable phenomenon that I think exists on the planet, and it's absolutely incredible. You'll never believe like what's going on under our noses every single day, millions of times a day. Yeah, so I want to tell you guys about it. I've never filmed a video like this before, so bear with me. It's gonna be a little bit goofy and all over the place, just like my life. So I made some visual aids because not everybody knows what a beehive looks like, and also because I just wanted an excuse to draw. So Lakeshore has become a racetrack. So this is a bee box or beehive. There's typically a lid on top of it, but it's just a box made of wood with frames that go inside. It's typically on stilts, which I forgot to draw, and I'm just realizing now that this is probably going to be backwards. Didn't really think about that. Maybe I can fix that in editing, you know, try and switch it around, but I think you get the point. Don't hold your breath on me knowing how to fix it. Okay, so this is a frame, you know, that goes inside. It's vertical. There's about 5 frames. 5 sounds about right. I'm still learning. So this is a frame, and this is where the bees live. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of bees, and they live on these frames that are made of wax, and the wax is made from their abdomens. That alone is like crazy. Like, I could just stop the video right now and you guys would be like, what the So they live on these frames. They lay their eggs on these frames. They store their honey on these frames. They make new queens on these frames. And like I said, they slide in, and you can pull them out with the proper tools. This is where the bees go in and out. It is completely dark in there other than this little tiny hole right here. So in each hive, like I said, there are thousands and thousands of bees. There's one queen. She kind of rules the whole hive. She is the bee's knees. She runs shit. All of the others are females. There are no men up in here. We don't need ya. And each bee has its own role. So there are nurse bees. Those are the ones that look after the babies. There are scout bees. Those are the ones that leave the hive to go literally scout for new places to live when things inside the hive are no longer copacetic. If like if there's a pest, if it's overcrowded, sometimes like a mouse will get in and decide that it wants to take up shop there. Obviously the bees are going to want to leave, and the scout bee's job is to go find another suitable location for them to live. There are forager bees, and those are the ones that will go and look for food and bring the food back to the hive for the other bees to eat. So a lot of these bees that have their own roles, they will do every single job. Eventually they kind of get promoted throughout their life until they end up doing everything. So how do they communicate with each other? This is crazy. They communicate through pheromones, scents, vibration of their bodies, and they use their antennas to communicate with each other. But the most incredible form of communication that they do is called the waggle dance. And I will leave a video, or sorry, I'll leave a link to the video somewhere. I don't know how to edit these things. The link will be somewhere so that you can watch it on YouTube. It's a very short video, but the guy has like a really sweet British accent, and he obviously tells the story like way better than I do. But I'm gonna explain to you how a forage bee explains to the other bees where it found all of the food. So here's our bee box. When a bee, a forage bee, leaves the bee box to go forage for food, it finds this delicious patch of delphiniums over here. And, you know, it stays there for a while. It stuffs its face with nectar. It loads up its legs with pollen, and it comes back to the bee box. Now, when the bee is back on the frame, it wants to tell all of its sisters where they can go to find this delphinium patch, because that's a big source of food right there. That's going to feed the whole hive for a long time. But how is it going to communicate that with her sisters? Well, I'll freaking tell you how. This is insane, okay? So I don't even know where to begin. This is a cat toy that I made. It's disgustingly hairy, but it works out really good in our demonstration. So this bee is remembering this delphinium patch, and it needs to tell its sisters how it got there. So it uses the sun. The sun is everything to them. Where the sun is in the day, they're able to tell the time. They know, like, yo, friggin' street lights are on, we gotta get home. The sun is at a certain distance. They know what time of year it is, like what season it is, by where the sun is on the horizon. They use the sun for their main communicator. It's everything to them. This bee knows the distance that it took to get from the hive box to the flower patch. And it knows through the angle of the sun to home. Now, I know that kind of doesn't really make much sense right now, but that's why I drew another picture. So this may look rude initially, move past it, okay? And I didn't have the patience to color in all of the comb. So just imagine it looking like an actual frame. So this bee will come through that little hole, you know, come home, and it will come up to the frame where all of its sisters are, and it will kind of bump into them and push her way through to get everyone's attention. Once she has the floor, she does this kind of vibrating motion, this waggle, if you will, and then she turns. And then she goes back and she wiggles again. And then she turns. And then she wiggles again. She's communicating where those flowers were. The distance, the squiggly mark, is the distance to where the flowers are. From the hive box to the flower patch is the distance in which she waggles across the frame. Obviously not in human length. I don't know how they figure that out. They just know. The longer the waggle, the further the flower. Makes sense to me. The angle at which she is on the frame, you know, whether she's facing this way or facing this way or, you know, this way, that is the angle of the sun in relation to the hive box. I hope that made sense. It's kind of crazy and like phenomenal that the amount of intelligence and just natural brilliance that takes to communicate that is unreal. But that's not even the coolest part to me. The frames are vertical, yes. And it's dark in there, as I said. There's no light. They can't see. They don't need to. But they go out in the day. They find their flowers, and they come back into a dark box, and they communicate to each other on a vertical frame when the world that we live in is on a horizontal plane. When they leave the hive, they're no longer on that vertical box anymore. Their angle has been turned. Yet somehow they're able to communicate to each other the distance to that flower and which direction to go when they leave the hive to get there. Are you freaking kidding me? That is just, it's freaking unbelievable. This is happening right under our noses every single day. This is the most intelligent, I've said it, I've already said it, it's crazy, okay? It's just nuts. There's one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys about honey. Some of you might already know this. I didn't know it, and I thought it's pretty interesting, and it's why honey crystallizes. So if you get honey from the grocery store, it's probably pasteurized, and that makes you an irresponsible shopper. I'm just joking. There's nothing wrong with pasteurized honey. It just means that it's been heated up to a certain degree to kill off the yeast cells and to slow the granulation process so that it can sit on the shelf longer and stay in its liquidy form. Pasteurized honey will crystallize eventually, but it will take a really, really long time to do that. Raw natural honey crystallizes, which means it goes hard. If you've ever gotten honey from like a farmer's market, you'll notice that over time you have to kind of scrape it out with a spoon or with a knife. Don't throw it out. It's not bad. You can just heat it up and it goes right back to its liquidy state. Honey is good forever. Honey is awesome. Crystallization happens because the ratio of water to sugar in the chemical composition of honey is very vast. There's 70% sugar in honey and only 30% water. So there's not enough water to dissolve all of that sugar. It's just, there's not enough of it in there. So when this happens, the sugar molecules will actually separate from the liquid honey, and that's when it turns into crystals. So if you have real raw honey, you should celebrate, because that's an excellent product to have. It's very good for you. It has natural enzymes and the yeast in it that have a lot of health benefits, and also it tastes so much better. When bees visit certain flowers and they come back and make it into honey, it has a certain taste. If they pollinate a horse chestnut tree and they come and make honey, that horse chestnut honey is going to have a very unique flavor to it. Every single plant that they visit produces a different taste of honey, and you lose that when you get it from a grocery store. I actually don't like honey, which is the weirdest thing, but I got this as a gift a couple years back. It's wildflower honey, and it has a comb in it, and it's supposed to be real honey, and it has yet to crystallize. So I don't know if it's because there is a comb in here, like maybe acting as an agitator, but oh, I can't open it. Yeah, it hasn't crystallized yet, so that's kind of false advertising, and I just keep it around because when people come over and want tea, I have to get them to open it. So that's my bee rant. I hope that you guys learned something from this video. Hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, and if you have any questions about bees or about honey, I would love to help you. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer. This is something I'm passionate about, and yeah, come to me if you got questions. I would love to help. Bye.